And my question would be, who cares? We don't care. We don't care if the Mount Kenya Kingpin is a donkey or a horse. All we want is services to the people, leaders that are accountable, leaders that are sensitive to the public. And these leaders, they actually don't care. They only think about their stomachs, then they think about the public later. So, but this debt distress is fake and it's manufactured. I'll give you one example of how debt was stolen. You have heard of Eurobond. Now, in Eurobond, what happened when these two presidents came to power, that is Uhuru and Ruto, it was the most saddest day of the life of a Kenyan, because those two people, they must be the greediest human beings alive. When they came into power, the first thing they did is that they changed the Public Finance Management Act through Parliament, and the
From the moment innocent protesters got shot outside parliament buildings, things have not been the same in Kenya. Now, fed up with rampant theft of taxpayer funds by politicians and deterioration of essential social services, a wave of civic awareness has inspired young Kenyans into action. The Vampire Diaries, a series that's been trending on social media, has exposed how government officials have been looting billions from taxpayers. Now, through phantom projects launched by President Ruto, the Vampire Diaries has shown how these taxpayer-funded projects barely get off the ground after launch. Now, the series also linked senior government officials involved in this scheme designed to siphon money meant for development projects. Now, joining us tonight is the producer and main character of the Vampire Diaries, Mr. MORARA Kebaso Sr. Now, MORARA has recently been working on exposing a 40 billion shilling scandal at the Kenya Pipeline Company. He's also been breaking down the controversial Adani Airport deal that has lately been on the news headlines. And for the first time ever, MORARA will be addressing Kenyans in the US and Kenyans in the diaspora. Bwana MORARA Kebaso, karibu sana ndani ya OneMicShow. Can you hear us?
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me too.
Yes, loud and clear. Asante sana, Bwana MORARA. Now, first of all, before we get started, if you don't mind, just tell us what time it is where you are and your location. I know your location sometimes tends to be classified, but just tell us so that people understand how deep you are in the work that you're doing. MORARA.
Right, so it is 3:17 a.m. in the morning. It is 17 minutes past 3 in the morning. What I can tell you is that I'm not in Kenya. I'm out of the country, but I can't tell you where.
Okay. All right. So that is totally understandable, especially in the line of work that you're doing. We totally understand this. However, we know that very recently, you had traveled to where there was a tragedy where we lost a number of primary school students. I think it was up to 20. I don't know whether it was 17 the first time. It might have been 20. Please tell us a little bit about that tragedy. And I know you tried your best to stay away in as much as you're being told to go and talk. Tell us a bit about this tragedy for those people out here in the diaspora, maybe who are not familiar, and maybe just some of the things, the corruption that leads sometimes to situations like this. MORARA, twende kazi.
So yes, I did attend a prayer service for the Endarasha kids. Endarasha Hillside School was a boarding school for boys, primary school, and unfortunately, there was a fire that burned down a dormitory, and officially 21 children died, 21 boys, which is very unfortunate and extremely painful. I went there to condole with the families, and I attended the prayer service, but I did not speak at the prayer service quite intentionally because I also didn't want to make it a political event, considering that people were in pain. But there are certain observations that I made that I may want to share with your listeners and viewers.
Yes, please go ahead.
And the first observation I made when I went to Endarasha, Endarasha is in Nyeri County. It is in Kieni constituency. So when I went to Endarasha, I realized that the road is very bad. To add salt to injury, that road was launched by none other than William Samoei Ruto in 2018. So we expected that if he launched the road, then there should be a road. But there is no road, especially from Endarasha through a place called Charity up to a place called Embaringo. So that whole area, the road is extremely bad. And the fire engine was supposed to come from the nearest town, which is called Kiawara. And to get there, it would have taken no less than probably an hour for the fire engine to get to the school. So, when it is a fire, if you have a whole hour before the fire engine can get to the school, of course, you're not going to save anything. So that road contributed towards making the situation of that fire in that school even worse. And I realized that the dormitory was also not built very well in terms of standards of construction. By all engineering standards, it was not a standard building which should house children. But as you know, in Kenya, the Ministry of Education does not inspect the sanctity and safety of buildings that host children. And therefore, we can also say that there was an oversight on their part because they say that there is a counterclaim that the fire may have been caused by an arsonist, while there is an official claim that the fire could have been an electric fault. Be that as it may, I believe that the building, number one, should have had several exits. Number two, should have had a fire extinguishers. The children should have had fire training, and we would have saved lives. But unfortunately, we lost 21 children. As it stands today, there was a dispute regarding whether the 70 children that were unaccounted for are actually accounted for. I saw a report by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation together with the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government saying that all the children had been accounted for. So, although the math of did not add up, because he said that 143 children were accounted for and 21 had unfortunately lost their lives, and essentially that adds up to 164 children that should be accounted for. So there's still two families that I know of that are still looking for their children. There's a family of Mzee John Mwangi, who is a father of two. He has one child accounted for, and one is still unaccounted for. And there is a grandmother called Joyce Wango, who is looking for her 12-year-old grandson. So these are the two that I know of that are still looking for their children and have not been told to take DNA samples, maybe to check among the 21. So it's a very unfortunate incident. Now, to add on top of that, before we conclude that point, is that while I was at the prayer service, a member of parliament shamelessly showed up late and in a helicopter.
Oh,
Landed in a helicopter shamelessly and very late. So I wonder, why would you be late to an event that is so emotional, so painful to the people that you're going to condole with? Then to make it worse, you land with a helicopter when actually the road is bad. When are you going to know about this road and how bad it is? So there's a lack of conscience on the part of our leaders. They are completely disjointed with the public and out of touch with reality. As you saw yesterday, 48 members of parliament, senators, and leaders from the Mount Kenya region met to tell us that their new kingpin is now Honorable Kindiki and not Honorable Gashagwa.
wow.
And my question would be, who cares? We don't care. We don't care if the Mount Kenya Kingpin is a donkey or a horse. All we want is services to the people, leaders that are accountable, leaders that are sensitive to the public. And these leaders, they actually don't care. They only think about their stomachs, then they think about the public later. So those are the kind of characters that we have in Parliament. I'm happy with the kind of reception that I received in Nyeri. I held a rally at Kiawara Shopping Center, or you can call it a town because it's growing very fast. I had a rally there, and of course, the governor of Nyeri tried to send a fire truck to come and disrupt my rally.
Yes,
So
I
I
saw
wondered
that.
where was the fire truck when the children were dying, that it is now available to come and disrupt a rally. But the people of Kiawara stood with me and we sent away the truck, and I managed to have my conversation with them. The next day, I did a few day launch tours in Nyeri before I held a final rally in Karatina, then traveled back to the city. So that was my trip to Nyeri.
Okay, amazing work you're doing there, Morara Kebaso, and very sad, like a number of things you mentioned. Politicians showing up at a very sad place with a chopper, arriving late, not even being empathetic or being sensitive to what's happening. A fire truck being sent when you're on your delaunching tour. This fire truck was not available when these children were dying, but it was available to come and try to disrupt the civic education campaign that you were trying to conduct while you were in Nyeri. So asante sana. I can see I have a number of panelists here in the studio, but before I introduce the panelists in the studio, so many comments already coming in. Jacob Korir confirms he's in Bel Air, Maryland, and Tindi Mwalimu says, thank you for waking up so early to be here. We appreciate you. Tabitha Njeri says, wow, thank you for taking the time to be here at this hour, Morara. And then Gidraf Nganga, all the way from Pennsylvania, says, Gidi Chonjo, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Then we have Indefatigable Wanjeri, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. She says, big up Morara Kebaso Sr. for his series and opening our eyes. It's one thing to see the Auditor General's report, but it's other to see the non-starter project. Super proud of him and always praying his family and family safety. And then I have Zala Mbogoli. Anasema, welcome Morara. Thanks for waking up from your sleep to talk to us. Zala, North Carolina. I didn't know there was a city called Zala. It's Zala, your name. It's not the name of the city. And then, So the other thing real quick, that I want to remind everyone who is tuned in. Most of you have already seen Morara Kebaso's work out there. And we want to remind those that choose to support Morara, his M-Pesa number is available on his social media platforms, all of them out there. And I'm going to say the number. The number, for those who are in the diaspora, you have, of course, to do the +254 708, and then it's 985 611. That's +254 708 985 611. For those who want to support him, start doing it right now as we are speaking. Get onto your favorite money sending app, be it Nala, be it Sendwave, be it TapTap, be it if you have a Safaricom number, or kama we ni old school bado natumia Western Union na MoneyGram. By the way, Western Union and MoneyGram, they can send money directly to Safaricom. I don't know whether I should be asking them for money because I'm advertising them now, but this money is going for a very good cause. Feel free to send something via any money, and feel free to comment. Place a comment down in the comment section. Sema nimemtumia Morara $10, nimemtumia Morara $50, nimemtumia Morara $100. Say it in there, because guess who's sending money to Morara? Mama Mboga, watu wa boda boda, people who are struggling, they're sending him 10 bob, 50 bob, 100 bob. So please, tafadhalini. And I also want to welcome our listeners who are on YouTube. Now YouTube, tafadhalini pia nyinyi, make sure you send something to Morara. Feel free to drop a comment and tell us. I can see James Muchichu is there. He says, tuned in from Kansas, USA. Karibu sana, James. I can see Stephen Okoth, and I can also see Dorcas Monanti, anasema Morara Kebaso here and listening from Colorado. So people from everywhere. Then I have Formula Uno saying Ndindi Nyoro came late and landed in a helicopter in Endarasha, say their names. And then hapa hakuna watu hawacheki huku, watu wamekasirika pia huku diaspora. And then we can see the Tony Chira show is tuned in. We got you, Morara. You keep giving the message. They can't shoot the messenger nor the message. Tony Chira lakini bro haitaki tutume na Lemfi. Hiyo Lemfi, I don't know whether it works, but there are so many other apps that work. The number again is +254 708 985 611. Morara Kebaso. Tuma kitu kidogo, post hapo, weka hapo kwa post and let us know. Now, I'm going to come to the panel in the studio. First, I want to welcome Val Githai, our guest host. Karibu sana Val. Val has been here before. What are your thoughts so far, or what's your expectation of tonight's show? Karibu sana Val.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Val Githai, student and a political activist here in the DMV. Actually, I'm so happy today to be here. I feel like the last time I engaged Morara was over at least 10 years ago. Tulikuwa tuna protest. It was something to do with KU. So it's good to see him here, seeing that he's still consistent and doing the good work. Okay, what I'm expecting today is, sometimes you really get caught up here in the diaspora with work and being comfortable. And sometimes it can be so hard to relate with what's going on. And we can't be there in person, but here in the diaspora, there are a few things we can do. Like Alia Mesema, we can, support financially, and we can be really good with that here in the diaspora. Another thing is just talk to your family and try to educate them. And also, my condolences to the families of the lost ones in Endarasha. It's so sad. Kwanza nikikumbuka mimi wa uko Nyeri. Nasikia tu, my heart is just, it feels bad knowing that we have leaders who don't care and leaders who just want to be kingpins. Ndindi Nyororo. Ndindi
Nyororo. Nyororo ni sawa. Say it. Nyororo ni sawa.
Ndindi Nyororo.
Yes. Wow. Nyororo ni sawa. Wow. It's okay.
Okay, Ndindi Nyoro.
Yes.
My goodness.
Nyororo ni sawa pia.
Ni sawa pia. Like, these people, they don't learn, and they've lost that part of humanity. And it's very clear that wamekuwa sucked into that. And diaspora, we've brought Morara Kebaso here. This is our chance to join in the fight. We can do it in person, but there's so many ways we can do it.
Okay, asante sana. And also another thing about Val, she's the one who facilitated this and made this interview possible. So Val, asante sana. We don't take that for granted.
Yani ndiye alikuwa nakifungua.
Yes, sasa Omosh, karibu sana. Give us 1 minute and tell us what you expect out of the episode tonight.
I think that there's going to be something that will be revealed over here that will be very shocking, and we'll be very appalled, and we will all go to arms and we're just waiting to hear.
And donate.
Yeah, that one too.
Yes.
That one too. But karibu kwa show. Thank you for making time to come through to us and also to open our eyes. Tumekuwa tukikuona online na sasa tunakuona live. Karibu.
Okay, asante sana. Asante sana Omosh. So we are going to go to Mika all the way from the village that he's in somewhere in Virginia. So Mika, please tell us 1 minute, what do you expect out of the show tonight?
Thank you very much, Ali. Morara, thank you for getting time to come to us, and also want to thank your regular wapenzi wa changiaji. What I expect today is just a conversation on about the state of things in Kenya, what Morara has done. And also, this is, it gets quite refreshing when you see that it's the young people who are taking these initiatives and they're the ones who are fighting for the future of the country. So my expectations today is a little more education on what's happening in Kenya, how things are happening, things that people can do to help in the spread and of awareness, and also the lessons that people can take from today so they can be able to protect the sovereignty of the country. As Morara said, we have leaders who have gone back to politicking as they used to, because in Kenya, politicians believe politicking is why they were elected, not service delivery to the people.
Okay. Asante sana, Mika Och. A lot of expectations. Now, before I come to Uno Mike, there's someone here by the name Chef Wakombo on Facebook amesema nimetuma $25. Ametuma $25, so hiyo hapo we are getting started. So makofi sana kwa chef wa Kombo. Makofi. So everyone, remember again, the number is +254 708 985 611. I have posted it on YouTube. It's pinned on the comment section pale Facebook. So please, use any app that you prefer. Nala, Sendwave, Western Union, kama we bado ni mtu wa kutumia Hawala, Dahabshil, whatever app you have, this money is all going, and we all know exactly where it's going to. So asanteni sana. So Uno Mike, 1 minute, just tell us, what do you expect tonight?
For me, it's civic education. I think it is important to really get to understand, because what's happening right now is we are being taught. Our eyes are being opened. For a long time, we have been asleep, and we have always been distracted. I was listening to Senator Onyonka today, and he was talking about things that, even to me, I was like, wow, wait a minute. He brought up things like Tulu oil, when we found oil in Turkana. There was a conversation about gemstones.
Yeah.
We're producing a lot, by the way.
Even uranium.
And uranium, and we don't even know.
Yeah.
People don't know.
He talked about Magadi soda on the
Magadi soda.
Show.
Yes.
Where? Mjukua Masai.
So,
yeah?
there's a lot that we do not know. We are always distracted by other things.
Yes.
And huku kwengine
Tunaporwa.
But
yeah, and you see the government bloggers are already active. They're already releasing these stories that I don't know.
Course.
I don't know who's divorcing with who to get people distracted.
yeah, we know them. Tumeonea kutoka hata si 18, hiyo 18 nyingine on the
but
other
watu
side.
wamekasirika na tuko chonjo.
Kabisa.
So let me go back to the comment section. I can see it sitting up before we go right back to Morara. Tabitha Njeri, our loyal listener, anasema, when I think about what Morara is doing for all of us as a collective, I can't help but feel immense gratitude for his gratitude and service to us people. This takes heart, passion, and courage. I have sent 200. Let me not say 200, not 2, not 20, but $200. So makofi kwa Tabitha. Yeah.
Make sure it's not Zimbabwean dollars.
No, it's US dollars.
Okay, sawa.
It's US dollars.
It could be Zim dollars.
So now Tabitha has a message here. She sent $200 right now. Anasema nani ataniskuma na 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 ama atatufikisha hata 500. So the money is already coming in because meli imengoa nanga ya Morara, and I mean the train is moving and it's not gonna be stopped. So asanteni sana. I can also see there's quite a number of people out here on YouTube. I can see let me see. Dorcas anasema Morara Kebaso here and listening from Colorado. I think we already read that. Robert Bet anasema karibu Morara. And then I can see Dennis Gates anasema karibu Morara from LA, California. Then we have James Muchichu. Can you drop the number? I already dropped the number there. And then I can see Chief Luis Achungo is already tuned in. And then Tony Chirans anasema we are here, we got you Morara.
Repeat the number again, by the way, for the people on YouTube.
So the number is +254 708 985
611.
Okay. All right. So keep the money coming, and we're gonna, we're gonna keep talking. I don't know whether tutafika 500, whether tutafika 1,000, 2,000, I don't know. But now let's go back to Morara. And Morara, tell us, why should the diaspora, especially those of us who are out here living in the US, why should we care about this budgeted corruption that you're talking about? Because people here, they have their good jobs, they have their good cars, why should people in the diaspora care about this? Is there any way that it affects us in ways that we don't know? Morara.
Well, let me first make it clear that wherever you are in the world, home is home. In the end, your journey will still end back home. And on top of that, you may be in the diaspora, but I'm sure you have so many dependents back at home. People love you, people care about you. And these people are going through a lot of pain because of incompetence and because of corruption, and because of theft and plunder by politicians who lack conscience of running our nation. Let me just paint the picture clearly to the people in the diaspora to understand it, and I'm going to say it in a very measured manner. I want the people in the diaspora to know that according to Morara, I can imagine that, or rather, my estimate is that about 60% of our annual budget is stolen. I say this very seriously because this government does not do anything, and I mean anything with capital letters, anything, unless they are looting and stealing public funds. In fact, even after we do demonstrations to reject bad governance and corruption, we still give them an opportunity to loot public funds. They allocate money towards repairing damaged infrastructure. They say when we did protests, there is some infrastructure that was damaged, and then they are able kutenga sasa tena for money to repair that infrastructure. So for them, it's not an opportunity for introspection. It's not an opportunity to think about the situation, but an opportunity to steal and plunder. So much money is stolen in Kenya that if you're told it looks astronomical, it does not look real, it looks like gaslighting, but I can tell you, fellow Kenyans, let me just give you an example of one county. Now, you should know that most of the money in Kenya is not stolen on the expenditure side. What I've been doing with the Vampire Diaries is I've been auditing government expenditure, where government set aside money, allocated it, launched a project, it never started, but money was spent, or it started and stalled, but money was spent, or it was completed with very poor workmanship and great plunder and theft of public resources. That's what I've been focusing on. But you need to know that that is a tip of the iceberg. That is the smaller part of the corruption. The real corruption is on revenue. Let's begin with counties. A good example is the county of Busia. The county of Busia, when it was a municipal council with councillors, it used to collect up to 700 million per year. KRA used to collect taxes of up to 800 million per year. When devolution came and Busia became a county, now it's collecting 130 million a year or thereabout. Can you make me understand how this revenue came down almost 6-7 times, yet the Busia has developed? There's been an increase in investment due to devolution. The tax rates have gone high. How come they are collecting 10 times less what they used to collect as a county council? And this answer is simple. Recently, the Auditor General revealed that county governments are operating more than 300 accounts.
Oof.
More than 300 accounts, county government. So what they do is that they have a county revenue system and a revenue collection system which goes into their private accounts. So they collect revenue from licenses, they collect revenue from toll fees, they collect revenue from other sources, and it does not go to the consolidated fund. It does not go to the public account. It goes to their personal account. That is how they are able to afford all these things like helicopters and things that are only driven abroad by celebrities. That is how they are able to buy MCAs all the time for them to stay loyal to the governor. So if you come to the national government, money is also stolen on the revenue side more than on the expenditure side. Revenue, by that I mean, if you look at KRA, money is stolen through tax evasion. You find that there are companies in Kenya that do not pay tax or do not pay their fair share of tax because of corruption. Then if you come down to collectibles or cash receivables by government, especially something called e-citizen. I want to challenge the people in the diaspora to go and read the latest Auditor General's report. The government of Kenya is unable to account for 15 billion Kenya shillings that was received on e-citizen. They can neither confirm nor deny whether they have the money. 15 billion,
Ooh.
all right? Money that is collected in Kenya, a lot of it is stolen through revenue. Now, there is also the stealing of loans, all right? There is the theft of debt, where we have fake odious debt that never landed in the consolidated fund, never landed in the accounts of the Republic of Kenya, was never for the benefit of the people of Kenya, but that debt, the people of Kenya are already paying for it with their taxes. As you've been told, currently 8 shillings out of 10 shillings is going towards repayment of debt, meaning we are in a debt distress. But this debt distress is fake and it's manufactured. I'll give you one example of how debt was stolen. You have heard of Eurobond. Now, in Eurobond, what happened when these two presidents came to power, that is Uhuru and Ruto, it was the most saddest day of the life of a Kenyan, because those two people, we must be the greediest human beings alive.